Of course, we're going on in 2, and they're talking 10 minutes. Jesus.
10 minutes for what? For the start?
Yeah.
No, they're not, because I just heard him say no.
Okay.
He just said no, 2 minutes.
Well, who said 10 then?
1:24,
Huh.
10. Okay?
That's what I heard.
Marty. 1:24, 10.
From the edge of the colorful corniche that surrounds the dazzling capital city of Doha in Qatar, we welcome you to qualifying day for the opening round of this 32nd anniversary year of racing on the UIM Formula One H2O World Championship Tour for powerboating at the 11th Grand Prix of Qatar. Hi everybody, I'm your host Steve Michael, along with my partner, many-time world champion Jonathan Jones, who joins me for my 15th year. And we greet you live at the heart of the Middle East in the capital city of Doha in Qatar. Here along the shores of the Gulf, 16 drivers from 11 different countries have gathered this morning, searching for the coveted pole position on a very difficult 5-pin course that lies here full of drama and suspense for the opening round of the 2015 UIM Formula One H2O World Championship season and the Grand Prix of Qatar. However, before we dive headlong into the excitement that is qualifying, let's set the stage by giving you a video postcard of this spectacular seaside city that is Doha here in Qatar. The state of Qatar and its dazzling capital city Doha has emerged from the sand in only a few decades, spurred on by its financial wealth from oil and gas revenues. The city has gone under tremendous transformation with its growth, which has radically transformed its demographics. Ambitious plans have been taken to diversify the economy. There's been a lot of reflection and planning about what Qatar should be investing to remain sustainable long term. Doha is redefining itself. This ambitious city isn't about to slow things down. The developing nation of Qatar, absorbing the best of all nations that coexist, no more than a village in the world's richest city. Money brings growth, and with growth comes changes in values. Here locals have become a community. It's a young city that will, in time, reinvent itself again and again. Doha, Qatar. Doha has been an 11-year tradition that has hosted more drama in qualifying than possibly anywhere else. Last year was no exception. Water conditions were outrageously deceptive, and who could drive through the huge swells and win the day? Let's take a look at who won pole position in 2014. Last time here in qualifying in Qatar, it came down to the bitter end. And first out was Alex Corella, the Italian, who was the defending champion. He did a 49.56, could it hold? But out came the Frenchman, Philippe Shep, hoping to do one better with a brand new boat. and he came whistling by, and he went faster by 0.4 of a second with a 49.16. Then all eyes were glued on the American driver, Sean Torrente, the defending race winner here in Qatar, and he came circling out. He went even faster with a 48.65. He takes the pole by half a second. Sean Torrente, the American #1 on home waters here in Doha in Qatar. Well, official qualifying, here's how it unfolds in Formula One. Let's begin by giving you a rundown of what you can expect in the next hour. First of all, the format will see 3 qualifying sessions, beginning with Q1, eliminating 4 slowest drivers from the field in the first 20-minute session. Following a short intermission, we'll bring you back the field out onto the race course, eliminating 6 more drivers in the 20-minute Q2 session, leaving us with the top 6 fastest. At this juncture, the final and pressure-filled Q3 session will see each driver coming out one at a time to go around this challenging 6-pin circuit, driving for 2 solo laps in search of the quickest time, hopefully grabbing #1 in pole position for this afternoon's Grand Prix of the Middle East. Now, this race circuit here on Doha Bay is known as one of the most difficult and challenging venues anywhere in the world, with an open gulf coming from the north creating rollers that, if you get caught off guard, can cause havoc even for the most experienced drivers. Right, Jonathan? You've been on this course.
Yeah, we have. They've shortened it up a little bit because of the weather conditions, but we've got 5 turn boys, 4 left-hand turns, very, very sharp turns, and that 5th right-hand turn on the far end of the circuit. Any overtaking, my guess, will be coming out of the pit turn, going into turn #1. That looks like it's going to be the best passing position. The other thing, Steve, is that the wind is already blowing up again this morning here, so I think it's going to be very difficult conditions for the race this afternoon here in Doha.
Well, defending race champion winner Sean Torrente leads his one-boat Qatar team. We'll get into that later as they search for their 6th race win on home waters in 7 tries. Can the Florida driver make it 2 in a row for pole position today? Sean, you had the pole here a year ago by over half a second. What's the secret to going faster on this course? It seems to constantly change every year.
It's a really neat place. The rollers are real bad, and the wind's really challenging, and every corner's a little different. So it's really, really neat place to drive and figure out how to get around the course and see how good you really are.
Yeah, it's one of these few courses where you have open swells rolling in from the Gulf, and that really separates the pretenders from the real pace setters here, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's a team effort. My guys do a great job preparing the boat and giving me a piece that's really well balanced. And then Brendan does a great job on the radio, just giving me information that I can't see myself up ahead, whether it's another boat getting out of shape or a swell that he sees, or a pleasure boat running across the back of the course like happens here sometimes. So it's really a team effort, and that's why we do well here, because we have a great team.
Yeah, so this course is drastically different than what it was in November. It's a lot shorter. It was 800 meters down the back straightaway. This time it's about 560.
Yeah, it is a little shorter. But honestly, that doesn't bother me so much because it doesn't affect our top end. We're on the limiter by then anyways. That's a little better for the motors, which here in last March, this was the layout. Like you said, the straightaway was still a little bit longer, but the backstretch had the yellow on it, which is my favorite of all the configurations we run here. So I'm just excited to get out there and start and get some laps in and see how bad it really is.
Totally different picture this time around, where you're a solo act this race. Your teammates moved on, and now the attention's to you, and now you can chase your teammate who's on a different team, Alex Corella with Team Abu Dhabi.
Well, I hope we're not chasing our teammate. We let him chase us. We remain with a good continuity here. All of our guys are still here. I still have RJ and Bill and Brandon doing the engines and Dave doing the colors. And you know what? It really, really was impressive how tight our team was, because Alex and Esteban, the 2 Italians, Alex talked to Corella on the radio every race. Every win that Alex has in Qatar is with him on the radio. He stayed on Qatar team because he believes in what we do. Same thing with Esteban. Esteban strapped Alex into his boat every time. He was the last person to see him pull one out. That's important track. And Esteban stayed with us because he believes in what we built and what we do as a team. We always say we're many, many nations, but we're one team. We're one family, and that's what we believe in. We're Qataris, we're American, we're Italian, we're Australian. We go on the water.
Let's have fun today. See if we can get pole number 2 in a row here in Qatar.
We need it. It's going to be fun.
The wind's going to pick up, Steve, as we go through the day. So he's going to have a handful this afternoon trying to get around the circuit. But very, very short wide poles.
Yeah, let's take a look at the entry list here. 16 drivers from 11 different countries are here. And they are ready with a lot of new faces that we talked about on the tour. Jasper Force is a second-year driver. Yusuf Al-Robian is back. Of course, the world champion Philippe Shep. As you look down, we talked about David Delpin. He was very impressive yesterday in practice. Jonas Anderson is back. Starting looking for more podiums. And Duarte Benavente looking for his 5th podium of his career with well over 100 race starts. Marie Stromoy is back for her 6th year. As is Leo Joie looking for his 1st podium. And then here he is, Bernard Eisenhofer, the driver from Austria, joining the team with Francesco Catano and, of course, Alex Corella in the new number, wearing the number 6, the 3-time defending world champion for the first time in 4 years, running a boat other than number 1. Well, the top of the sheets, we take a look early on here. Now we're about 6.5 minutes into this 20-minute session with about 13 minutes down, about 15 seconds left to be run. Charles Durante's got the fast time at 1.09 seconds against Jasper Force. Again, remember, a bit of smoke and mirrors here because you want to finish up in the top 12. We're not fighting for pole position yet. This is just Q1. You want to get into the top 12 to move on to Q2 and then get in the top 6, get in the shootout, and get a chance to take pole position.
But it does look at the moment, Steve, as though Durante, he's got everything in hand there. You know, he's 1.09 seconds behind Jasper Force. We spoke about him yesterday. He looked very, very fast on the water. With Al-Rubayan, the Joseph, the Middle East driver there, 1.15. So, as things are at the moment, Durante's still got everything under control. And I think for anybody to beat him for pole position here today, they're really going to have to pull something out of the bag.
Low sun in this morning session here, through the mist, through the haze here on Doha Bay. We scramble to identify the drivers here on the monitor as they come circling around. And there you get a chance to see Team Abu Dhabi. Here you pick up a Matt Clark boat. And of course, Team Abu Dhabi with Alex Corella, who is on the bottom of the sheets. And he's just jumped up to that 5th position. So the 3-time world champion is getting a bit feisty here early on. He wants to make sure that he gets at least locked into the top 12.
Yeah, and he's slowly but surely, as you say, moving his way up. But Corella at the moment, he's done 4 laps and he's driven pretty hard, and then he's still 1.53 off pole.
Sami Celio jumps to the top of the list with a 45.14. Durante down by 10 tenths of a second. Again, you want to finish in the top 12. So here's Jasper Force, that boat number 15, the red machine, coming around for the 2nd year. Hopefully he doesn't want to get a sophomore slump by this Swedish driver who was impressive a year ago. And Jasper Force comes in here in his 2nd year. His best finish last year was in the last race where he finished 6th in Sharjah. I got 5 points on the year. He tied for 15th in the championship. And just a youngster, 21 years young.
Yeah, Chiap then going for another run. He was quickest earlier on, 1.46 seconds now off that pole position. Trying to get a clear lap. Looks very, very fast as he goes into turn 1, down that short chute into turn number 2, and then down the back straight. So all to play for here, but at the same time, there's no point in people overdoing things. I mean, as long as they're in the top 15, then they're going to be back there out in the 2nd session again. And I think for the 2nd session, they're probably going to have to maybe change the setup of these boats a little bit as the water here roughens up.
Problem on the race course right in front of us, Johnson, as Philip Roms comes to a stop and then fires the boat back up. So maybe he accidentally pulled the plug on the electrics. We don't know, but he got the boat going very quickly. But Philip Roms, who was running very slowly, finished 11th in the championship. As we look out on the water, there is your defending world champion. First time ever a Frenchman gets the world championship. Philippe Shep, what a miracle season he had. A very consistent year, but he needed to do well in his final 2 races. And just like Sami Celio did in 2007, Philippe Shep got pole twice, won twice, slammed the door on the hopes of Alex Corella tying the all-time record of 4 championships in a row for Philippe Shep. First time for France for a world championship. First time for China to get a world championship in a motorized sport, so we salute them.
Yeah, and the nice thing is it goes to show here, Steve, that you don't have to be one of the very, very top running teams such as Qatar and Abu Dhabi, who have massive budgets, you know. It goes to show that the underdogs can still win out here, and I think that's given a lot of the other teams a lot of hope for the future.
We watch the boat down on the race course. Again, in the mist and the haze, we're fighting to ID these boats, but you can see them coming by. And Eisenhower is the driver of that number 23 boat, as we talked about, the rookie. His father used to race. His father actually brought back Regal Boats out of Orlando, Florida, which was a famous sponsor in this series back in the 80s. And they, for the first time, got Regal Boats to commit to spending money in Formula One. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, well, I remember when I first started racing, Wilfried Kleinen, the German driver, who's been working out for Regal Boats something up to about 25 years. He brought them into Formula One, and they sponsored him for quite a long time. And now he's got his son-in-law there, flying the flag again for Regal Boats so many years afterwards. And this is going to be his first Grand Prix, and he's told me that basically he just wants to settle in quietly. He said the boat feels good, it feels fast, and he's looking for a midfield position. If he can finish in the midfield, he'll be very, very happy this weekend.
Halfway point has been crossed. We're now down to about 8 minutes left in this first Q1 qualifying session as we eliminate, of course, the 4 bottom drivers in time-wise. Right now on the boat is Bert Eisenhower, who we talked about, just getting his feet wet in Formula One in that number 23 boat, driving for the Contando team. And Reed Strumoy is struggling, and she's 5.6 seconds back of the fast time, but at the same time she is about 2.4 seconds away from breaking into the top 12, so she's going to have to find some speed. Eric Stark, a big struggle for him, which is a big surprise, Jonathan. He's way down. He's in the 14th position, and he's a good 1.2 seconds back.
Yeah, he's just on a fast run now. The number 51 boat at start. One of the DACs, one of the very short ones, just coming through there now to do another lap. But in 13th position, doesn't seem to be able to improve, even though these conditions are fairly flat now, because a lot of the front-running boats have gone back to the pontoon and are waiting for the second session.
Coming out of turn number 5, down the front straightaway. You get a chance to see that number 27 machine. Ahmed Al-Hamli with the new Emirates team. He's running Ivan Brigada's F2 boat, that Baba boat built out of northern Italy by Massimo Ruggiero. In flat conditions, this will be quick. It's 20 centimeters shorter than any boat they've ever had, and it was very successful a year ago on the European Tour in F2. And here Ahmed Al-Hamli is racing through, hopefully getting himself into the top.
Yeah, he's down there now, last but one turn, boy, but you can see coming into that last turn, the wind is starting to pick up, it's getting choppy, and the problems he's going to have is that with this very, very short boat, unless the conditions are flat, as I said earlier, he's going to have a handful as he almost loses the boat there coming out of the last turn.
Al-Hamli hanging on desperately, keeping the boat under control, comes by, and for Ahmed Al-Hamli, he's 7th quick, he's into the top 12. He's 1.65 seconds back of Sammy Celio, but more importantly, he's in the top 12, and you can see how difficult it is here for Al-Hamli to settle that boat down in the water. It wants to fly off the water.
Yeah, but just don't read too much into this team out from this first race in Qatar, Steve, because, you know, it's going to be a long season. They already are looking at new backup boats for the next Grand Prix, so it's not going to be a true reflection as to how this Emirates team is going to be right throughout the 2015 season.
Of course, Ahmed's going to be remembered for back in 2012 when he had to stop midway through the season because they discovered a brain tumor, and they ended up flying him to the USA to get an operation done in therapy, and he was leading the championship at that time. He was dominating. He had a victory in 2 second places, and he was kind of walking away with the title, and then bad luck hit him, and thankfully he's back. He's healed, and he's back racing again, and he's got the new determination, Jonathan. He wants to really show off what he could do, and I think Scott Gilman's going to give him a little bit more freedom than he may have had at Team Abu Dhabi.
Well, you know, Team Abu Dhabi, they obviously had a lot of pressure on them because they had the weight of the Abu Dhabi state on their backs, and obviously I've been there before with big sponsors myself. But now it's pretty much a free spirit this year. And the rumour had it yesterday that maybe Thania Kwasi, who was Al-Hamdi's teammate last year, and obviously signed up for the Abu Dhabi team, felt yesterday that things were not going to go his way, that they felt Carella was having a little bit too much attention there, and he decided to leave the team, and that did surprise me somewhat. So are we going to see at the next Grand Prix, the French Grand Prix, do you think we'll see that whole team of Al-Hamdi and his teammate back together again for another year?
What a shocker if that happens. I'll tell you, nobody would have guessed that or dreamed that 2 weeks ago. Great graphic we got up here for you, because you look to the left of your screen, you can see that Philip Robbs, who at the time was sitting in the 11th place, Robbs improved, he's dropped down to 12th. Jonas Anderson has jumped up into that 4th position, so he is now out of harm's way. But on the bubble is Eric Stark. He's up in the 10th spot. Benavente is still struggling a bit. He's down in the 15th position. He needs to move up a couple of more spots. He needs to jump up to the 12th position. Breit Stromoy, she is down in the 14th spot. And then, of course, our rookie driver, Bernd Eisenhofer from Austria, dead last right now. And he's in a big learning curve.
So on the bubble at the moment, as you say, is Wong seems to be struggling a bit. Liu Wong, the Chinese driver, sitting there in 11th position at the moment, but he's going to have to be careful. He's moved up a little bit, he's improved his time on that last run. He's 2.06 off pole position, but there is not a lot between him, Roms and Stromoy in that 14th spot.
Less than 3 minutes to go in Q1 as you take a look at Breit Stromoy, the woman driver out of Norway, the entertainer. She's desperately trying to move up. Now, in the years past, Jonathan, we have counted her out, scratched her off the next list to go up, and she's always surprised us in the last minute. She'll come out of nowhere, so we're not writing her off by any means right now. She's in that 14th position, and for her, at the moment, she needs to gain 1.4 seconds to get her up into the top 12, where Liu Zhuang is sitting at the moment.
Yeah, he's looking good, 2.14 as I said. And then the new Abu Dhabi driver that came in very last minute, David Delpin, yesterday won the conditions of rough. He was flying out there, the second or third quickest. Not quite so fast this morning, but he looks as though he's going to get into that the second session of timing, and looking pretty good for the weekend. So at the moment we've got Sergio from Tarente, Chiap now moved up to third, Jonas Anderson, who's always jumping at the pit, very, very close out there at the moment. He's in fourth, his teammate in fifth, and Abu Bayan, who's leading at the beginning, down in the 6th position, but still looking very good and fast now.
Well, as we take a look at the situation at the moment, Liu Zhuang is the last clinger. He's hanging on for desperate measures in that 12th position. He is 0.02 of a second ahead of Philip Robbs. So the driver out of Finland desperately looking for some kind of extra speed. It won't take much as you look out of the water and you see Philippe Shep, the world leader right now. He's out there running strongly, and his teammate is in that 12th spot. Now with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Jonathan, we're hitting desperation time. We're almost at the point where if you don't get one solid lap, then it's going to be too late for you to move up.
Yeah, we can see Eric Stark now in that 8th position, 1.5 line off pole, so he's found a little bit of speed. I saw him go back into the pits, change a propeller. Obviously got a better setup there now. Al-Hamdi now unfortunately dropped down to 9th, so he seems to be struggling, and we've watched him for the last couple of 3 laps. And that boat really is very, very fast for a heck of a handful out there. As we look back to the bubble again, Liu's Wong is at 12. Wong working another run there. His hand is 2.37 and 2.39. So run off there. Maris Boy and coming off again with another second behind the other driver. Benavente struggling in 15th, and the new driver, Enzenhofer from Germany, 7.55 off. But I think he'd just be glad to get into the race.
All right, last time around. Breit Stromoy on the screen, desperate, trying to fight her way up. She's going to need another 1.4 seconds to kick herself up into gear and get into session number 2. She's done this so many times in the past, working her way through turn number 2, heading for the right-hander now. Turn number 3, can she get in? The whistle is sounded, the checkered flag is out. Desperation time for Breit Stromoy, the woman out of Norway. She's got 2 more pins to go. Breit Stromoy needs to do a 47.27 to get in. Up the corner as she heads down and working her way sitting in that 14th position. She has been eliminated from the competition of Q2. So Marit Stromoy desperately doing her best. She got her best lap in of this session of 4.764, but it wasn't enough. It was 0.4 of a second behind Liu Zhuang, who desperately hung on and watched the competition for the final 3 minutes, trying to claw their way up past him. But Liu Zhuang is the 12th and final driver that'll move on to Q2. Philip Roms is out. Marit Stromoy is gone. Duarte Benavente is out, as is the rookie Bernd Eisenhofer from Austria. So pretty exciting. That 20 minutes went by very quickly. And again, the top drivers, we haven't seen their hand yet. Obviously, they're not showing everything, but they did just enough to get in. Any surprises here, Jonathan, for you up in this top 12?
Well, the one that seems to be running really well, I know he's 1.51 off at the moment, is the guy that's in 5th position, Jesper Force. I mean, he was thrown into Formula 1 from Formula 4 last year, and he showed towards the end of the season that he had the pace out there, and he ran some really strong races. And boy, has he come along quickly. Jonas Andersson is the team leader in Team Sweden. He's in 4th and Force in 5th. So probably a guy to look out for. The surprise at the moment is Carella. He's down in 7th, and he hasn't been doing full runs. I can see they've been testing the boat around the turns and down the straight, looking at the acceleration and the likes. And he's going to be one to watch out for. Stark again, Cantando. We thought he was going to do a lot better here this weekend, but again, he's back to the position he was towards the end of last year, qualifying around 10th position.
You can see on the race course with the sun so low in the horizon as we go on board, and job well done. And I'll tell you what, it's the visibility has been tough, not only on us, but for the drivers. You can imagine what it's like as you take a look at the 3-time world champion, Alex Carella, who is sporting a brand new beard, a full-length beard. We've never seen that before by him. I think he's trying to look a little bit older as he reaches almost his 30th birthday, trying to be more distinguished as well as a world champion.
Yeah, and no, he didn't look too happy, did he? And he's down in that 7th at the moment. He's about 1.5 seconds off. But we saw towards the end of the session that Philippe Chaff there, again, who hasn't been showing his hand, seems to be the dominating driver out there. He's in that pole position at the moment, with Sami Selyu in 2nd, Tarente 3rd, Anderson 4th, and Rubayan, the other Middle Eastern driver, in 5th. Carella, who's now with the new Abu Dhabi team, switched there from the Qatar team in 7th, and Al-Hamdi back with the Emirates team down in 8th.
Well, I'll tell you what, 2 drivers, one a rookie, another a veteran, has joined the new team. Actually, one of these drivers joined the new team yesterday. It's been a mad scramble in the last 2 weeks here in the paddock. Let's meet David Del Pin of Italy and hear from Ahmed Al-Hamli. David, a bit of a surprise, but congratulations starting on Team Abu Dhabi today. What are your thoughts as you get ready for qualifying?
Yes, it's a surprise for me because, well, Team Abu Dhabi called me, and in this moment I'm very, very exciting, and it's a big surprise. But anyway, I'm honored to stay here, and for me it's the first time here, and then, well, it's a dream. It's a dream, and. Well, as I say, it's the first time for me in Formula 1, and then I must to learn and learn and learn. And then now we will see if the boat is okay, if I feel comfortable into the boat, and not. I think that the important is that not have accidents and not have problems. And the mark for this weekend is come back home with complete the boat and without accidents.
Well, how does it feel to be with a manager who's a 10-time Hall of Famer, world champion Guido Capellini, and then you got a 3-time world champion Alex Carella next to you?
I think that it's no one can understand what I feel in this moment. Staying in this team is, I think, the best thing in the world of the powerboat racing, and I feel very good, and I feel honored to stay here with these champions.
Bocco in lupo.
Crepi il lupo.
Ahmed, new team, new colors, new sponsors, but really you're still with the same personnel.
Yeah, my team is stay there with me, but we change sponsor, we change boats, everything. I mean, we restart. You can say we restart the team from beginning. New boats, new stuff, new sponsor, as you said. I hope everything running well, and we do the best.
And for you, psychologically, is this a new beginning for you?
Oh yeah, I feel like it's first race for me in Formula One. I feel a pressure, you know. So I need to show a good result and keep fighting same as before. And I'm looking for a championship.
Yeah, you know what it takes to win. You won here in 2012.
Yeah, but now we change our strategy, not about winning a race, it's winning a championship. Before our mind is different. We try to win the races. This is important, but now the most important about the championship is most important for us.
And of course, you have your old mentor, Scott Gilman, with you.
Yeah, he's still kicking me. I mean, you know, he changes programming also. I mean, before he always pushed me to win the races. Now, different program, as I said.
Best of luck in representing the Emirates this weekend.
Thank you. Wish you good luck. Thank you.
Ahmed El Hamli, and for him, you can just feel that the tension has fallen off him. There's Scott Gilman, of course, team manager of the new Emirates team, and Scott, of course, a four-time world champion. Interestingly enough, across the aisle from each other, you've got Guido Camporini, who is a Hall of Famer, and you also have Scott Gilman, who is also a Hall of Famer. 10 years in the decade between '97 and 2007. It was tremendously wonderful to watch the two battle back and forth. Camporini won 5 world championships. Scott Gilman won 4 during that time, and you, my partner, won 1 in that 10-year mix. And it was kind of fun watching those two battle tooth and nail race after race.
Yeah, I think as far as the teams are concerned, that I think also with Camporini now, okay, they've got one Baba boat at the moment and one DAC, which they flew in last week. And I think as the season progresses, you're probably going to see a lot of changes there, because they've sort of come in half-cocked, the Abu Dhabi team here. You know, they're not as prepared as they probably would like to be, but now they've got a couple of months to get the program together. Likewise with Gilman, you know, I mean, 2 weeks to put a team together is nigh on impossible, and I think that you'll see some changes with our team Emirates as well. And there's going to be a lot of competition, a lot of friction, I think, between those teams as the year goes on, and hopefully that will show out on the water and give us some really exciting racing.
Boats coming off the pontoon on the start. They start working their way out. The 20 minutes is underway. This is Q2. We take the top 12 qualifiers, bring them out on the water. We eliminate the bottom 6. The top 6 will get a chance to go solo one at a time in Q3 for pole position. And it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. As we watch the boats come circling off, the water conditions are so much better today than what they've been all week. It was a real scramble trying to get in any kind of laps yesterday with the tremendous blow coming from the north. And again, this is an exposed circuit, one of the few that we have on the tour. We're in the open Gulf that comes off the north side of the course, and that's, by the way, turns 4 and 5, and we'll point that out later. But right now, the wind has actually changed just a bit more toward the east. In other words, it's coming off the land, a quartering headwind when you go down the straightaway, and that's just enough so far, Jonathan, to keep the conditions perfect and get the boats on the water.
Yeah, and you can see that Torrente there, he's the first boat out. He knows that the water's going to be calm for the first couple of laps as the boats sort of slowly make their way around the circuit. He's coming down the start-finish line now. The boat looks really fast on the top of the water. He wants to get the job done earlier on, so he'll just sit out the rest of the session and get into the top 10 for that shootout.
So as we watch the boats go around, there's Sean Torrente, the defending race champion here, and this Qatar team, as they look down and they watch their young driver out of Florida circle around and head down the back straightaway. Torrente has led all 4 races in the last 4 attempts. He has won 2 of those. He had bad luck in the other 2. And Torrente really kind of knows the secrets here in this race course that constantly changes, Jonathan. And most of the time it's done for safety reasons. This time it's about 3 kilometers less, or 1/10 of a kilometer than the last race.
Yeah, you can see him there now, just overshooting that turn a little bit as he goes around. See what sort of time he's going to put up there at the moment. Oh, almost loses the boat there as he crosses the start-finish line. 45.62, not a bad lap. That's looking pretty good. Celio went to do his lap, again came across traffic, was struggling a little bit. He's just coming through now. Celio there, just slightly quicker than him, 0.02 of a second, and Jesper Force in 3rd position.
Well, yeah, Sami Celio improved his time over Torrentes in that first opening lap by 2/100ths of a second. Now, yesterday, when they had free practice, that was delayed 3 hours. They finally did get out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The fast time was set by Torrente, did a 46.77 and 161 kilometers per hour, but the conditions were a lot worse than what they are now. So Celio, Torrente, and Yusuf Al-Robayan is in that 3rd position. He's back a bit. Jasper Forge is right back up there. The impressive Swede sliding down into that 5th spot. Jonas Andersson, the 2008 champion here in Qatar, has moved up into that 3rd spot on his opening lap. So things are starting to develop here. We're 3.5 minutes into this Q2 session, in case you're just joining me. Alongside Jonathan Jones, I'm Steve Michael, and we're glad to have you with us as we bring you the opening salvo as the curtain comes up on the 2015 season here for the UIM Formula One World Championship. We're all excited about being here. We got new venues this year, Jonathan, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year. We've got a defending champion from France, and we got new teams. We got drivers being shuffled around, a lot of drama in the paddock. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is, and it's nice to see that we're back in Europe again, because normally the races have been from the Middle East, the Far East, and into China there, and you know, we've got a Grand Prix in Portugal, in Porto, which is going to be fantastic because everybody loves going back to Portugal, and also one in Evian in France. So 2 Grand Prix at the moment in Europe, and I know that Niccolo De San Germano and his team, they're also working on a number of other events, which I think they may add as the season goes on.
Well, Yusuf Al-Rabayan, the driver out of Kuwait, starting his 4th race here in Doha. He's got a podium. He had a 3rd here back in 2013. There you can see his crew chief and chatting with him alongside. And I'll tell you something, he feels pretty confident that this year he can really make some noise. As a year ago, he came by and he had a bit of a frustrating season a year ago as he dropped out of the opening round, finished in Liège, crashed out in Doha here. Then he dropped out of Abu Dhabi and then crashed in Sharjah. So Yusuf Al-Robayan a year ago only finished 1 race, 2 crashes, 2 DNFs, and looking for happy memories this year, not like what he had in 2014.
Yeah, we see Carrera coming through there now in the new DAC that they flew in this week. Position at the moment for Carrera. He is in 11th position and seems to be struggling somewhat out there this afternoon.
So you take a look at boat number 27, and of course we watch Ahmed Al-Hamli as the young driver from Abu Dhabi with the new Emirates team on board, driving that short boat that we talked about. So we take a look at Al-Hamli's down in that 9th position. He's about 3.5 seconds behind Sami Celio. And again, getting used to that water in that very, very short boat in these rough conditions.
Sorry, Steve, but Carrera then 11th position, and I saw him go around on that last lap, and it's still, that did not look quick on the water. He's moved up slightly now, and he's in 7th position, but he's still 2 seconds off that leading boat with Sami Celio.
Yeah, Carrera, again, they need to make it to the top 6. Plenty of time left. We're only about 6.5 minutes into this Q2 session as we watch Ahmed Al-Hamli. And for this driver, he's starting his 61st race. He hasn't won in the last 11 starts. His last win was here in Doha back in 2012. He had 1 podium and 3 starts last year. 2 DNFs and an accident in his last 6 starts. So he's trying to shake the gremlins of bad luck and improve on his stature. And again, as we talked about, a little more loose reins this year. It'll be interesting to see how he develops with not so much pressure on board him.
Now the other Abu Dhabi driver, David Dempsey, 12th position at the moment. He just come out of the last turn, boy. Looks a lot faster on this lap. That's the number 5 boat, the Baba boat. Is he going to move up? Yeah, he's moved up to 7th position, 1.8 off. Not a bad performance for a guy that didn't even know until yesterday afternoon that he was going to be in the Grand Prix. Never sat in that boat until he had limited testing yesterday, just probably about 10 minutes, and doing a great job.
Yeah, he is a young 24-year-old from Italy. He's a 3-time Formula 1000 world champion. And he drove for the Team 800 Doctor in Formula 4 back a few years ago. So he's run the small boats, but he loves the power. He went, oh my, Steve. He said, the power on this is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, yesterday when the conditions were absolutely atrocious out there, I mean, he was about second or third business. He was running the boat way on top of the water, doing a beautiful job. And as you know, we had to delay this qualifying from yesterday because of the conditions. But Steve, I think the conditions today, although they're not so bad at the moment, come the race this afternoon, it's going to be a hell of a demanding race out there because the wind is promised for 20 mile an hour again today, and I tell you, it's going to be the guy, it's going to be a race of attrition, that's for sure, and I think experience will show throughout the Grand Prix today. All
right, Eric Stark in his 8th start, 3 top 10s. He's struggling right now. Stark down in that 8th position, trying to move up a couple of positions. Now he's only 0.2 of a second from making it up to the top 6. Corella is down below him, but as we watch Stark, he's had 3 top 10s and a podium in a second in China last year, 2 DNFs. And here last year, he started 13th, didn't finish. Then started 11th and finished in 6th position for Eric Stark.
Delpin doing another run there, wasn't quite as quick as the last time, but still holding up there in 7th position and showing a lot of these lead drivers the way here this morning in Qatar.
So a bit of a surprise by the rookie. He's got a great resume, but he's never run boats this powerful before. But sometimes power is a situation where it kind of dissipates sins and helps you out. Power sometimes saves you.
Yeah, on the bubble at the moment is, again, Leo Zhuang in 12th position. And I saw him a couple of times earlier on there when he was getting mixed up with other boats as he was going around. What they need to do is they need to keep him on the far end of the circuit. Wait for a really big gap so that he can get a smooth run right the way around the circuit. And that's the only way, if they do that, that he's going to move into the top 10 and get into the shootout.
Well, you look down on the order on the left of your screen. These are the drivers that are desperately trying to charge their way up. Here is the, as you look farther down, and these people have been eliminated, but gave you a chance to see who still has to struggle a little bit harder to get into this.
Well, I can tell you something for sure. Corella, still in that 9th position, seems to be struggling. I might be wrong, but he seems to be struggling because he went for another fast lap there. He could not improve 2.07 seconds. So we got the world champion, the current world champion, down to 9th, and to see if he can get into that shootout this morning here in Qatar.
3-time world champion. Current world champion up in that 3rd position, 0.3 off, but Corella hoping to get his 4th championship this year. But as you pointed out, Jonathan, yeah, but down to the 9th spot, he needs to improve, and he's got to get about, all he needs is about 0.3 of a second. But boy, there's a log jam going on for 7th, 8th, and where he is in a 9th spot with David Delpin just standing outside the door. He needs 1/100th of a second to tie, 2/100ths of a second to get up into the shootout. Not bad for a kid who's touching the water for the very first time in a Formula 1 boat.
Yeah, you can see the 2 rookies in the 6th position, Jessica Ford, and in 7th position, Delpin. So great performance by those 2 young drivers.
Really amazing to watch them. And as you see Ahmed Al-Hamli again, the Emirates team, we focus in on a driver who is starting his 61st Grand Prix. First time ever other than Team Abu Dhabi. And he continues to slug his way around. He's down in the 11th spot, and he's going to need to find some speed in a hurry because he's about 1.6 seconds back from making it to the top 6 and reaching Jesper Forrest from Sweden, who is sitting in that 6th position.
Yeah, and as you said, he really is slugging it around, Steve, because he just cannot seem to keep that boat on the water. It's so short, and the conditions are getting slowly but surely getting worse, and he's going to find it ever more difficult at the moment, and you know, he just can't seem to improve on that 11th position, which is what he's in at the moment.
Well, Jonathan, as a driver, why is that a handicap for him running this short boat on this rough water?
Well, the problem you've got is that, you know, Formula One boats used to be quite long, and since the circuits have got shorter and shorter, what they've been doing is making the boats shorter and shorter just to get acceleration in mid-range. Now, the top end of these boats was a lot faster a few years ago because we were running longer circuits. But of course, because it's all about acceleration now and mid-range speed, they've now scrubbed off a lot of speed at the top end, but these boats will accelerate like billion out of the turns, you know, and the problem you have is that most of the circuits we run are relatively calm, and of course they can handle the boats in those calm conditions, but out here today we're in the open sea and the conditions are quite difficult, and it goes to show that the short boats like Alhamdi, we discussed this earlier on, is finding it very difficult to try and keep that boat on the top of the water. We can see he's passing us again there now down past the start finish line. I mean, it's almost like a low-flying aircraft as he tries to keep the boat in contact with the water as he goes around the circuit.
Well, as you see, Philippe Shep, the current world champion, now he is tied with Guido Capellini for the most ever podiums with 5 here in Doha. He has never won here, though, in Doha. Last year, in the opening round, we were here in Qatar. He started 7th, finished 2nd runner-up, and then when we came back in November for the 2nd race here on Doha Bay, he qualified 2nd. He finished 2nd, so he's never won it, and this is something that he wants to start off the new season as a defending champion with a big race win here today.
They're running strong, there's no question about it. They've done a lot of testing in Abu Dhabi prior to coming here, and they're looking good. But the one guy I think that seems to be looking a lot stronger this year than he did over the last, say, 2 or 3 Grand Prix last year is Sami Celio, because he seems to be the benchmark out there. They built that new DAC, they kept the sponsors quite long, but they obviously moved the weight balance and various other things. They moved them around in the boat, and to start with, he found the boat very difficult to handle. But again, they've done some winter testing. I think they've changed the engine from what I understand, and it looks as though he seems to have it all together, certainly at the beginning of the season, and the boat looks very strong, very well balanced on the water.
And he's lost a lot of weight. He's done a lot of therapy, and he's worked out a lot. He's been exercising all winter long. He looks fantastic. Liu Zhuang, you take a look at the young driver, the 23-year-old from Shenzhen, China. Finished with 8 points a year ago, 14th in the championship. Now in Doha last year, the first race, he finished 7th. He was very happy with that, got a top 10 performance. And then he raced in Liuzhou, his home Grand Prix, and finished 10th. He's down in the 12th position. He needs to hurry up and hustle, as does this man, Alex Corella, sitting in the 9th position. For Alex, he needs to move up 3 more positions in order to get a shot at pole. And as we speak here, with less than 5 minutes to go, he needs a couple of seconds to do it. Let's see what he does here. Let's go on board and watch him. As you see the clock up top, we're less than 5 minutes left to be run here in Q2. The idea here are these drivers are trying to finish in the top 6. If they do that, they get a chance to solo 2 laps maximum by themselves on the race course for pole position. So it's very important to get in the top 6. Then you can leave your own determination, and it's up to you to see if you can take pole position.
Quintana now is in that 11th position, 2.82 seconds off, going for another run. Water seems to have settled down a little bit. Can he get into the top 10 as we see Alhamdi going for yet another run there? He's already done 12 laps compared to the likes of Celio that's done 4 to put it on that pole position. So obviously they're trying everything humanly possible to get that boy moving into the top 10.
All right, he's desperate right now. The 3-time world champion struggling trying to get up there. You see David Delpin, his teammate, who also is on the bubble. He's only 1/100th of a second away from getting in the top 6. This man, first time ever in a boat in Formula One, putting on a show here for this young Italian, doing what he can. Let's see how it pans out for him as his teammate. He's actually out-qualified his 3-time world champion teammate, Alex Corella. So Eric Stark, David Delpin, Alex Corella, Ahmed Al-Hamli, 4 drivers desperately now with less than 3.5 minutes to go, are doing what they can to get out and run the fast time. Stark will come across. We'll check his time. Did he improve?
He did not. Now he's going to take another run. Let's see what Eric Stark can do as you look over on the far side of the course at Alex Corella.
Alhamdi now moved up into 6th position, 1.4 off pole position. Pole looking a lot better. My guess is they've been back into the pits. They put a little bit extra weight in the front of that boat to see whether they can control it in these rough conditions, and that's a big step forward for Alhamdi.
Boy, you can't say it any better than that. Alhamdi digging down deep, finding some kind of formula for success. He improved by a second. He really put on a show there. And right now he knows that he's on the bubble, and he moved up 2 more spots, Jonathan. He's up to 4th. Ahmed Alhamdi has got the hammer down, and he is moving in a very, very quick way.
Yeah, the boat looks a heck of a lot better now than it did earlier on. The balance is that much better. You could see the boat, like I said earlier, it was like a low-flying aircraft. He's been back into the pits. They've obviously changed propellers, probably put something with not quite so much lift in it, which does alter the performance a little bit, but at the same time allows him to get a fast lap in there. And he's looking good. He's looking really good in 4th position.
All right, another driver who's moved up. Eric Stark has slid up into the 6th position. The Swedish driver has come in a big way. He improved and ran the fast lap. He is now on the bubble. He's hanging on as Alex Corella farther down desperate, but Eric Stark now up in the top 6. We expected this from this very talented rookie driver a year ago, getting Rookie of the Year, starting his 2nd year. Eric Stark, and only for him, his 8th start of his Grand Prix career is moved up, and Stark now in that 4th place position.
We've got Cantando Steve down on the far end of the circuit there, a little bit gingerly getting around that far turn, boy. Now coming along into the yellow. Looks like he's a little bit quicker than earlier on, and if Corella doesn't watch it, he may be out. Only time will tell. Cantando now coming to the last but 1 turn, boy. Steve, can he improve his time?
Yusuf Al-Robian is the driver we're focused on at the moment. He is trying to get up, and he does. He moves up into that 4th place position. And as they come out of the final turn, here's Cantando. Cantando comes whistling by. Down in the 11th spot, he moves up, but to the 8th, he still needs another run. Corella down in the 11th position. 3-time world champion Alex Corella struggling as they come by, and he has come to a stop. Alex Corella, the boat has come to a stop. It looks like his chances now, the dreams of chasing a pole position for the very first time on Team Abu Dhabi have been washed away, and that is a big, major surprise.
So, has Corella got a problem, or did he know that he was not fast enough and decided to pull off the circuit and stop the engine, Steve? I wonder.
Well, that's a good question here with time wasting, and tell you what, the yellow flag has come out because they're saying the driver is in harm's way. We show 1:07 left to be run in this Q2 session, determining the top 6 to see who will go out one at a time for the shootout for pole position. David Delpin, the driver we talked about, the rookie who we thought was doing such a great job, but he was early on in the session, was sitting in that 7th spot, but he got drifted down. He's all the way down in the 10th position. Jesper Fors in his 2nd year, the rookie driver a year ago. Now his sophomore season from Sweden is down in that number 9 position. Cantando up in the 8th. Jonas Andersson, your 2008 champion here, and they're going to show the checkered flag, Jonathan. The checkered flag is being waved, and with that, officially, this session is coming to an end. That is it, Jonathan. So, who didn't get in? Jonas Andersson, Francesco Cantando, Jesper Fors, David Delpin, Alex Corella gone, Leo Zhuang. So those are the drivers that did not make it in. Who made it in? Ahmed Alhamdi with a great run at the end. Eric Stark finishing in the number 5 spot. Yusuf Al-Robian in the 4th spot. Philippe Shep, the defending world champion, in 3rd. Sean Torrente, number 2, and coming out last will be Sami Celio to grab his 3rd pole position here in Doha.
That's going to pump Scott Gilman up a lot, I can tell you. Alhamdi there, that last but 1 lap he did was a blinder. The boat looks so much better on the water. And again, Steve, they've never run this boat before. A Formula 2 boat so small with a Formula 1 engine. And it is taking them some time to get it dialed in, to get the balance right. And even for Alhamdi to get a feel for that boat. And slowly but surely, he's been moving up the grid as the weekend's gone on.
Very desperate and disappointed Alex Corella with the new team, new engine builder, new crew, and now starting off very slowly. As you said, it was a kind of a desperation move to get the boat quickly down from Europe, get it ready. This is not their number 1 boat that they hope to run for the year. It's kind of a stopgap method
for Guido Capellini and Team Abu Dhabi, but Alex Carella being towed back in, and disappointing so far for the driver out of Italy, who just really dominated the series for 3 years and almost won a 4th time a year ago.
Yeah, but even so, coming here, I'm convinced that Capellini wanted to show his mark. I mean, he's now running that team. It's probably one of the biggest teams in the championship. And, you know, to come away with Carella breaking down and David Delpin, an unbelievable job there in 10th. I mean, fair play. So he's flying the flag there for them today. And, you know, this afternoon's going to be different. And I think we'll probably see some changes. And I'm sure this team, Abu Dhabi, is going to have to be really working hard over the next 5 or 6 hours to get the boats back onto the water and also to get them competitive.
Well, Portuguese driver Duarte Benavente joins us now, starting for him. For you, Duarte, this is your 120th career start. And tell us about the start of the new season for you. How's it going so far?
$14, $15, and that's it.
Well, I'll tell you what, obviously for you, you've got a good solid team. You got to be pleased that we're going back to Portugal and getting a chance to run in Porto. I know that's not your hometown, but it's your home country, and you got to be over the moon knowing that Formula One's coming back to Portugal.
It's not my hometown, but it's, like you said, my home country, so I'm very happy to be back there, and very nice for my team, for my sponsors, and I think for all Formula One teams and family. They all love to race in Portugal, and it will be quite a beautiful place to race.
Youssef Al-Robian joining you for a 3rd year. You guys getting pretty cool, calm, and collected? Do you work well together?
Yeah. We know each other for a long time now, and we never had problems, and we work like a team should work, in my opinion. So I'm quite happy with Youssef, and he's quite happy with the team, so it's good.
Hey, you had a chance to go out there yesterday and run the boat a little bit. Today you get out here again. How are the conditions?
Better than yesterday for sure, but still rough, still a tough race for sure ahead of us. So it's the same for everybody, Steve. So we have to race it. We will race it for sure.
And for you, if you look at this race course, the north side, south side of the race circuit, where's the most difficult place that you have to really pay attention to?
I think turn number 1 and the straight to turn number 2, it looks to be the most challenging part of the course. But depends on the weather conditions. Maybe in the afternoon it's another place. This morning it looked like number 1 and number 2 was the most difficult turns in the circuit.
Duarte, best of luck today, and we wish you all the best luck in the Grand Prix. Let's see if we can get you that 5th career podium this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you. Duarte Benavente out of Portugal, who went out there and struggled a bit. He's starting in the 15th position unofficially right now as we look down on the grid, but you know, a little disappointed, but you know, it's a long race this afternoon, and anything can happen. He knows how to get to the podium.
Yeah, the other thing is the pressure's going to be on him a little bit, because, you know, they've got a race in Portugal this year, and the Portuguese TV companies will be following the Grand Prix leading up to that race, Steve, and also their home driver, Duarte Benavente. So, you know, he's really and truly going to have to get everything together, because there's no question about it. People are going to be watching him very, very closely over the next couple of 3 Grand Prix.
Defending world champion Philippe Shep of the CTIC China team is back to defend his title after becoming the first Frenchman to earn the honor in his 4-decade-old sport. And I'll tell you what, is he just as motivated this year to come back and make it back-to-back championships? Let's find out. Ending to the year, 2 poles, 2 victories, and a championship. You've had a chance to test over the winter. How do you feel about starting off this season here in Doha, a race you have not won yet?
Yes, last year it's a great season for us, and for this year we hope the same, of course. We expect to the winter is good, and flat water for testing new props, and we do test in the winter, and we are confident, and I think we can make a good result to Doha.
This course is very special. It's different. It's open ocean. There's swells out here. How does this boat handle, and how do you handle the rough conditions here?
Yes, you know, I like this condition, but of course I like flat water also. My boat this boat is good in flat water and rough, and of course when you have a good boat in the flat water, we would prefer flat water, of course. But if you have a special condition, for me, every time is good.
Many times pilots, after they have won a world championship, sit back and say, I've accomplished my goal. Have you had a chance to talk with your team and get them pumped up and ready to take it for a second challenge so you can become a multi-time world champion?
Yes, it's very strange after Sharjah. The time it's very short to the beginning of the season, and we remind, wow, we make the dream for the team, for me. Maybe it's time to stop my career, and we talk with all my team, and he said, no, it's not possible, Philippe. We to be continue, and we are very happy to continue. We are stay with all guys, and the passion is there, and we want another time the World Championship.
Bon voyage.
Merci beaucoup.
Well, a driver who's made it to the Q3 session, a shot for the pole, will be coming up as the youngster Eric Stark. Now, Eric was Rookie of the Year driver a year ago in an eye-opening second half of the season in 2014, earning the podium on his way to finishing 6th in the championship. Can he top that performance of a year ago? Let's find out. Well, they call him the Dominator in Formula 2. Eric, Rookie of the Year a year ago. Now you look at the plans for 2015. You've done some testing. You guys are looking like you're really prepared for the season.
Yes, we tried this year to come more prepared than last year, and we spent a week in Abu Dhabi a couple of weeks ago, and just drove a little bit boat, test some new propellers, and just get the feeling again.
Yeah, quite the learning curve for you, stepping into this DAC, feeling more comfortable with the boat?
Yes, a couple of weeks ago in Abu Dhabi, the boat felt really good, and now I really enjoy to drive it, and I'm sure I can try to push a little bit harder this year.
When you sit in your office and you're sitting at home in the dark and you're thinking, what can I do to improve myself, what comes to mind?
Of course, training home, physics training, and we try to do that, and now it's time to train the driving skills, but I hope it's enough.
What little things with the team have you improved on for 2015?
In the team?
Yeah.
We having the same team, and I think the team was really good last year. That was not the problem. I think the problem for us was to learn everything and learn how to understand the engines and how the propeller works, and we got some new propellers for this year, and so we will keep going with the same team and do the same thing like last year, but just a little bit better.
How important is it for a rookie driver a year ago for you to come back to a place like Doha this year and run the course a second time?
I'm really, pumped for this, because last year in Doha, I didn't finish the race. I blew the engine after like 5 laps, and time trial was shit because the engine didn't work as it's supposed to be. So now I'm really, push it to do some good results.
Top 6 today and a shot for the pole?
I hope. That's the plan.
Eric Stark, a rookie a year ago, who won the honors of Rookie of the Year, a very confident young kid, and I'll tell you something, he's going a long way in this sport. Eric Stark, a big surprise after a slow start in this sport, but he has really taken off. So something going on in the far straight that I find very interesting, Jonathan. It looks like possibly that is our world champion boat, and Philippe Shep is being towed in from the far straight, so he's coming by and heading back in. He qualified 3rd quickest, so our defending world champion, who has never won here in Doha before, is being towed back in, Jonathan. That is a big surprise, and he will not run in the top 6 shootout, and more importantly, hopefully it's nothing major with the engine, because otherwise he's going to have to go farther back in the grid today.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything, couldn't it? But the funny thing was that where they towed the boat from is the far end of the circuit. Now, I'd say if they were towing it fairly near to where the pits were, chances are he was going to check the engine and make sure that that the fuel management system was set up perfectly. They sometimes do like they stop the engine at maximum RPM so they can get some better readings. But with him being towed back all the way down from the bottom there, I don't know, it doesn't look good, does it?
No, it doesn't, and as a matter of fact, that could be devastating for that team to start off 2015 in a big way. But again,
We haven't even run the first race of the year, so we're being a bit premature here. So as we take a look out at the fans coming here in the early morning to enjoy this, there's Luis Ribeiro, the race commissioner from Portugal, and he's all excited about our event in August in Porto, coming to Portugal. Chatting with the Qatar team is Brendan Power on your left with the headsets on, the Australian native who makes his home now in Tampa, Florida in the USA. Really the engine guru. He, along with Alex Haledon, who is actually one of the best dentists in the province of Quebec in Montreal, and he's been a guru building engines for many years. He started with the Seabolts probably 40 years ago, and he continues to work, and he still has the enthusiasm of making things right.
Oh, he works night and day. I mean, it's a funny setup with Alex because his daughter has now taken over the dentistry business. Alex works in that particular business from about 7 o'clock in the morning till midday. Then he goes for a little workout because, you know, he's getting on in life. He's no spring chicken anymore. And then he's into his dyno room. Every day he's there. And sometimes he calls me at night, could be 11, 12 o'clock at night, and he's still working on something, and he tries this, tries that, everything else, and he certainly has a passion for engines, as does Brendan Power, we've got to say, because Brendan, who runs that Qatar team, I mean, there's a lot of competition between these engine builders that are with us in Formula One these days, and Brendan, he works night and day solidly. I mean, they put together an unbelievable package, the Qatar team. But, you know, they've turned up with just one driver here, which was a bit of a surprise. There was talk that other drivers were going to join the team, and we haven't heard anything. The last I heard yesterday evening was that they may put a local driver in there from Qatar, but, you know, we don't know. And there was talk as well of one or two of the other front runners that I've seen on the list here that themselves may get a test in one of the boats. Brendan's going to evaluate who he wants to put in that boat for the next Grand Prix, and there's still a few surprises out there, Steve. There's still a few guys, I think, that are going to be changing teams, and we won't know until come the second race in France as to actually who's going to be with what team until the end of this season in 2015.
Brendan Power, you just saw him off to the left a second ago. As you look out on the Corniche, a lovely morning here as we focus in on race day as we come back for the 11th Grand Prix of Qatar here in Doha, and the lovely backdrop of this city that has just mushroomed out of nowhere in the last 15 years. And of course, you look down and you see some of the traditional buildings in the backdrop, and here in Doha Bay you look farther toward the south, and that's where we used to race. Now this is the third location that we've been here on Doha Bay. We started over on the east side of the race course the first couple of years, Guido Capellini winning the opener, and then we moved to the southern part of Doha Bay, and then we shifted over to this angle. You can see off in the background off to your right, that's the pyramid building architect of the Sheraton Hotel, and that really was the mainstay of this skyline for many years until it just took off like the wind. Look at it now. It's just so ultra futuristic here on as you get a good backdrop. If you can see the start pontoon as we are about set to go for qualifying, and with Philippe Shep being towed off, it looks like we're going to have 5 boats fight for the pole position. And as we get set, here we go. Ahmed Al-Hamli from the Emirates team in this brand new boat that they have taken on, this very short Ivan Regatta Run Baba boat built by Massimo Ruggiero out of northern Italy, and 20 centimeters smaller than any boat that they have run before. This is ideal for wonderful mill pond type conditions, so Ahmed Al-Hamli is going to have himself a bit of a handful here, but you never know. He is not lacking confidence, and he really wants to prove a point here, Jonathan, as he makes a statement as he comes out on this race course.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, you know, they're having a bit extra time on this boat now. Yesterday, they were just fitting the boat out. They were putting a new seat in there for Ahmed because he wasn't very comfortable. And, excuse me. But, you know, they seem slowly but surely to be able to get the whole thing together. They've got a better balance on that boat. They've probably been choosing slightly different propellers. And if he can get a clean run here, he could put in a good performance. Whether he get pole position, I don't know. But it'll certainly push him right to the front of the field and put him in good stead for the Grand Prix later on this afternoon.
Ahmed Al-Hamli starting his 61st Grand Prix. He is quick. He's got 9 pole positions. He's looking to make it 10 on his career as he circles out, coming out of turn number 5 down the front straightaway. And as he comes whistling by, he goes on the clock. The the first of 2 possible laps for him. Here as he goes for pole position.
Boat was really, really good. They're very, very stable. The conditions are now a little bit better. Good acceleration off that first turn, Royce Steve, and down to the far end of the circuit.
Bouncing through the second-hand turn. That's 281 meters down. He heads for the right-hander, the only one in the race course, 315 meters. He'll set the boat. Does so. Now accelerates up 290 degrees and into turn number 4.
Running some beautiful speed. This is a difficult corner there, and he takes it quite well. He just goes round there a little bit careful because the conditions are really bad. Now into the last turn, boy Steve slings the boat around there down to the start finish line.
Now let's see if he can check to see what the time is. His first time around, a 44.61, the fastest time of the day. And a nice way to start it off, and he's not giving up. He's taking a second time around, Jonathan.
Yeah, really pumped up there. Fantastic first lap. Everything seemed to be under control with him on that far end of the circuit where the waves were starting to build up. He seemed to have a beautiful balance. He's down the far end again, round the right-hander, that little yellow boy that we have on that halfway down the straight, into the last but one turn, boy. Again, being very, very careful there, but a better line this time. But normally the first lap is the quickest, Steve. Into the last turn, boy, down the start-finish line.
Ahmed Al-Hamli, the 36-year-old from Abu Dhabi, comes by to improve on his time. Yes, he did a 44.25, and he now unofficially has taken as he fights his way through that #1 spot. And I'll tell you something, he looks stronger. It's always seemed to be tougher to get that second lap in, but for him, I think it's just a matter of getting used to the boat at that speed. And boy, he looks solid.
And that's what it is. It's all about time. I mean, you know, they've done about 20 laps in this boat from new. And, you know, normally down in Abu Dhabi, they test all through the winter. They try lots of different propellers, engines, different setups and things like that. And, you know, to come here and to put up that sort of time, boy, that's really, really quick. But, you know, qualifying is one thing and the Grand Prix is another, and it's going to be rough. But if he can get a really good start here today, and he may well do with that little boat that accelerates well, I tell you, he's not going to make it easy for the guys behind him to overtake him through the Grand Prix, and he's got a point to prove here this weekend, you know. As I say, they've started this new team there with Gilman, the Emirates team, and so far, so good.
So as he leaves the race course, all eyes focused now on the second-year racer from Sweden, Eric Stark, the 27-year-old out of Stockholm. 4 times now he's the defending Formula 2 champion. And he dominated in that F2 class. Of course, as Jonathan mentioned, his nickname is the Dominator. Well, he's trying to do the same thing here in Formula 1. As Eric Stark with Team Nautica last year finished 6th in this championship with 23 points. His best day ever was at the second race here in Doha. And he fought himself up, and Liu Zhou, he finally found himself on the podium for the very first time in China. He started 7th in that race and finished a fine 2nd place. He was very aggressive in that race in China. And for Eric Stark, he's got 1 podium, 3 top 10 finishes. And today, this is his 8th career start, and he is looking for his first pole position.
Yeah, another one of these short boats we always talk about these days. This is a TAC. The boat was owned, I believe, by Scott Gilman. It's now been passed on to Stark, who's purchased the boat, and looking pretty good there. Good acceleration, nice corner going down to the far end of the circuit. Doesn't look quite as quick as Al-Hamli, but, you know, I could be wrong.
Eric Stark now sliding the boat out of the final corner, now down into 2. Now he'll go through that right-hander. Tricky right-hander here a bit. He set the boat, and off they go another 290 meters down.
Good run through the right-hander there, didn't back off, didn't lose any RPM, so he's carrying good speed into the last 1 turn. Nice corner there, again being very careful, as was Al-Hamli when he did his run. Good acceleration out, coming into the last turn there, throws the boat around and accelerates down to the start.
Stark, let's see what he does. He's moving to the top of the hill. He does not. He does a 47.35, 3 seconds behind Ahmed Al-Hamli. That's a real bit of a surprise as he goes through. His best qualifying effort here in Doha was an 11th that he did last year in the second race. So Eric Stark now has got to finally focus. Jonathan, you get the word. Really, crew chief, are you telling him what he did the first time around?
Yeah, for sure, you know, but maybe they've changed the setup of this boat because he seemed to be quite a lot quicker in practice here this morning and in qualifying, and seems to be struggling again. The boat not that fast off that bottom last but 1 turn, and coming down to the last again, throws the boat around. Doesn't seem to be giving a lot of speed, does he, Steve? I don't think he's going to do it.
He went even slower, Jonathan, a 47.69, so he'll take the first time of a 47.35, 3.1 seconds behind Ahmed Al-Hamli, who is holding on to the quick time at the moment with 2 drivers in the top 6 that have already run. And Yusuf Al-Robian is the next driver from Kuwait. We expect to see him come out. And he was a speed champion in Formula 2, and he just loves going quickly here. For Yusuf, we'll see how it pans out for him. But for Eric Stark, you're right. It looked like he'd thrown the anchor out. He was really struggling to get some speed in that boat.
Yeah, and as you say, second lap was slower than the first, which makes me think he's obviously got a technical problem there. Whether it's the engine or not, I don't know. I think if it was the engine, Steve, he'd probably stopped on the far end of the circuit and got one of the towboats to take him in. So what they've done, whether they've changed the propeller, changed the setup of the fuel management system there or not, I don't know. But certainly quite a long way off Al-Hamli with that 44.25. I tell you, that's going to take some beating.
Coming around the corner now is Yusuf Al-Robian, the driver out of Kuwait, in his 4th year. He tied for 15th a year ago in points. He struggled last year, 4 points. He just wants to forget about 2014. 2 DNFs, 2 crashes, 1 finish, where he qualified 3rd. He had a great qualifying performance in Leo Zhou, but he finished 6th in the race and just 5 points on the season. So Yusuf Al-Robian, who is known as the speedster, he was the speed champion in Formula 2, and he's a veteran Formula 2 racing driver who made the jump and leap up to Formula 1 4.5 years ago.
Yeah, wind's picking up a little bit again, Steve, on that far turn there. I think he's going to find it a little bit different. This is a very, very fast boat. Engine prepared, in fact, engine and boat prepared by Alex Radovanovic, who's doing a fantastic job with Al-Robian there and really giving him the best equipment possible to get the job done. Boat looks pretty good. Slight mistake there coming into the first turn, but seems to be carrying some really good speed.
Yusuf Al-Robian, the driver from Kuwait, coming out of turn number 2, starting his 20th Grand Prix. And he is hoping to get up into number 1 and get the first pole position of his career here as he starts that 20th race. As he comes out of turn number 4 and 5, circles back, fighting the sun just a bit. It was really hazy back about an hour ago, but here the sun's climbed a little bit. The wind conditions remain about the same as he comes out of turn number 5. Jonathan, let's see. He comes across the line. He improves, but not enough, as he's 3/10 of a second back with a 44.61.
But he's got another one to go, Steve. That's quite close. 0.4 of a second there between him and Al-Hamli, and he knows. I'm sure that Alex has already been on the radio to him telling him, you've just got to push that a little bit harder. We're in second position at the moment. We can get this pole position, and let's see whether he can he do it, Steve.
All right, Yusuf Al-Robian, the driver coming by with that F1 Atlantic team, circles out of turn number 4, heading 310 meters down into 5. 1 more corner to go in his qualifying effort. This lap number 2, holds the top down, flies the ball in the air. Will it be quick? No, it's slower with a 45.18, and for him, that was 0.5 of a second slower, so he is 0.36 of a second behind the pole sitter Ahmed Al-Hamli, who's got a 44.25, and right now, that boat number 27 is looking pretty tough.
It certainly is, but I mean, all credit to Rubayan there. I mean, that was a blinder that first lap, and he was really pushing hard and knocking on the door, and it's going to be interesting to see whether the likes of Sergio and Torrente can get ahead of Al-Hamli there with that 44.25, but they seem to have everything well together this year. I think Sami Sergio, like you said, looking a lot slicker, a lot fitter. He's been working out a lot in the winter. They've re-established that team somewhat, and they did look really strong in testing and in qualifying, and you know, he's going to be one of the guys to watch out for here today.
Well, Philippe Shep comes around the corner. Bit of a surprise. He could run out of fuel. You never know. But Philippe Shep, who's our defending world champion, and Philippe Shep works his way out. This for him, as he's hoping to get his first pole position here in Doha. He's got 2 career pole positions. This is his 26th top 5 or top 6 performance, reaching the shootout. And we'll have to wait and see how this pans out.
Yeah, and this is a really close-knit team again. The boat's built in France by David Moore. They've developed that boat over the last couple of seasons. I think they brought 4 different boats to Grand Prix in the last year or two, and slowly but surely they've been moving up the field, and boy, he ran so well last year, and he obviously wants to hang on to that World Championship in 2015.
Philippe Chappe at his 93rd start. He's won the last 2 races in a row. He's never won here, but he's been on the podium 5 different times, and he's on the clock, and off he goes for the first of 2 laps around this 1.76 kilometer 5-pin circuit, Jonathan.
Oh, beautiful turn there on the first turn. Great speed going down there into turn number 1, round turn number 2 there, still carrying good speed and coming down to the right hand on the far end of the circuit. Conditions look a little bit better this time than they did with that European. Good corner there to drop any speed. Oh, almost lost control of the boat. You can see there, Steve, as it bounced off the water into this difficult turn. A little bit careful there again, but not too bad. Good acceleration, keeping the boat on top of the water there. You can see as the booster starts breaking behind the boat, those waves are picking up on the far end of the circuit.
He's going to be the 44.25. He's going to the front. He does. He does a 43.30. That is almost a full second faster than Ahmed Al-Hamli. A 43.30. That unofficially is very close to the all-time record mark here.
Yeah, that was a damn good run, and he's going for another one. He thinks he may be able to improve, because the first time you go around on this circuit, you don't know exactly what the water conditions are like, and you saw Al-Hamli did a better second run. Is Chappe going to do it? Boat looks a little bit more settled there. This is where it's lost or made, just on that bottom turn with all the rollers coming in off the sea, and again the boat looking very, very smooth as it throws it into the last turn.
On the turn number 5, he improved on a 43.3. Can he solidify it last time? No, he goes 0.2 of a second slower, but he'll take a 43.3. And he right now is the fast time by 0.95 of a second, almost a full second ahead of Ahmed Al-Hamli with the Emirates team.
That'll give Sergio Torrente something to think about. Their crew chiefs have obviously on the radio to them. They're telling them what sort of time he did, and they know that they're going to have to push really, really hard. But you know, the other thing they've got to watch, Steve, is if they push too hard and turn the boat over, there is not a lot of time between qualifying here this morning and the Grand Prix this afternoon. So although they want to carry speed and they want to get that pole position, they're still going to have to be fairly careful. But pole position here, as we've seen in the past, it means everything, because you are the boat that gets the clear line into the first turn. If boats are a little bit quicker than you off the dock, they still cannot. They have to give you that space into the first corner. So it does play a big part, I think, in the race itself.
All eyes glued on this driver of the Qatar team on home waters today. Sean Torrente out of Miami, Florida, coming out. He's the defending pole sitter and defending race winner here in Doha. Sean Torrente starting his 22nd career start. He's got 2 poles, 2 wins, 7 podiums, 12 top 5s for the 36-year-old who is hoping against hope that he can take pole position again. We don't think we've seen all of what this driver can do in this brand new boat. This boat built and shipped down from Como, Italy, just a matter of about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They were out testing the boat the last couple of days before we arrived here. They've done a lot of testing on home waters. Let's see what Brendan Power, who is the engine management director, and Sean Torrente, the driver who has dominated in North America, now trying to do the same in Formula One. Here he goes. Torrente flies down in this brand new DAC boat down the front straightaway. Torrente heading down into turn number 1, coming through that first turn. Jonathan, so far, so good for the American.
Yeah, again, like Chappe, the last runner, carrying some very, very good speed there into the turn number 1. Good corner on turn number 2 as well, accelerating well out of there. Boat looks well balanced on the water, running about 130, 135. Not quite so nice down there, but as I saw the wind again picking up on that far end of the circuit, Torrente settles that boat. Good turn again. It's going to be nip and tuck between Torrente and Chappe, I think, coming into the last turn now.
Torrente slides through the corner, dissipates very well speed. He flies down the front straightaway. Can he beat a 43.5? He does. He does a 42.75. He is faster by half a second over Philippe Chappe. Sean Torrente who had the pole position a year ago, is trying to do the same right now, and he is not done. He's going for lap number 2.
Yeah, that was a great run. The ball came down past the start-finish line when he went into that lap, Steve, and you could see daylight all the way down 2 or 3 inches, almost like a low-flying aircraft, as he ran the boat on the top of the water. But the boat is so well balanced, and as you said, they've done a lot of testing with this boat prior to this Grand Prix, so they're used to these conditions. And with this young driver from the US, they became going for it as he almost reached the boat.
42.75 down in the 43.23. That still would have put him on the pole, but Jean Torrente has thrown the gauntlet down. He is ahead of the field by over a half a second, 0.55. Now remember, last time here, Jonathan, in November, he out-qualified Philippe Shep by 0.51. Now it's 0.55, but remember, there's still one more driver to prove a point, and that is Sami Seljo, the veteran from Finland, who, yes, Seljo, who has a total of 22 pole positions. And for Sami Seljo, he's got 2 poles here in Qatar. He got it back in 2009 and 2011. Jean Torrente, wow, what a burner. A 42.75. And right now, that's going to be real tough for Sami Seljo to beat. But Sami has looked strong. He looked good in practice. Sami Seljo has really worked on the design on this boat. They did not like it. They got it about halfway through the season. It was a real struggle, a handful for him. He had to drive it at max speed for the boat. He had to fly the boat constantly to get it to do what he wanted it to do. And since that time, they've worked on the boat. They've tweaked it a little bit more. They've settled it down a bit. He feels a lot more comfortable in it.
Yeah, what was happening last year was when they were coming into the corners, he tried to get the boat to set and turn very, very tight, and it used to run all the time. I think because there's just so much lift in the tunnel. And they've obviously worked on it over the winter, and they've changed a few other things on that boat as well, from what I understand. And it looks a lot better balanced on the water this year than it did last year, and carries some incredible speed as he comes down the street, down the start-finish line.
Well, the crafty 17-year veteran who is starting this afternoon his 125th Grand Prix, hoping to get his 23rd pole position, and he's slowing down, and oh my, Sami Seljo has got a problem, and he has dropped the boat down. And Jonathan, let's see if he can keep it going and try another lap. What do you think? What do you see out here?
Well, what do I think? I think that could be a little bit low on fuel, Steve, because, you know, the fuel pump draws the fuel out of the tank, and for as long as you're going down the straight, you don't have any problems. But he threw it into that corner, and you could see the engine just die off a little bit. Whether it's that or not, I don't know. But he's going to go for a second run. He's getting his head back together there now. I'm sure that Michael Jenkins, the crew chief that's worked with him for many, many years, you know, they're saying, right, calm down now, Sami. The conditions are good out there. You're capable of doing this, and here he comes for another shot to that pole position.
All right, the narrow window of fuel inside the fuel bladder. Very close. Let's see what Seljo does. He goes through the corner. Now off he goes again. Takes a run. Let's see if he can do it the second time. Almost going over, teetering on the edge as he comes down in front. Seljo now going into turn number 1. Again, will this be a problem for him? No, he keeps the boat running. Jonathan, your indication as he comes out of turn number 2, is he going a lot faster than you expected, or is this pretty much what you expected of Sami Seljo at this point with maybe a fuel problem?
He certainly doesn't look as fast, but you know, it's deceiving out there on the water because you've got nothing to judge it against. But I thought coming down past the start-finish line, you seem to get it out there more than once, and the boat dies again on that far corner. So they've obviously got some issue, whether it's fuel or they don't know.
Sami Seljo desperately hanging on, wants to get the pole. If not, he must be right up in front. Did he improve at 42.75? He did not. He did a 45.29, and Seljo's 5th quick. He's got to be bitterly disappointed, 2.5 seconds away from pole. So Jean Torrente from Miami, Florida, the homestanding Qatar team, picks up the pole, his 3rd of his career, his 2nd in a row here in Doha. And Jean Torrente with Brendan Power. I'll tell you what, the magic for that Qatar team just keeps on rolling along.
Yeah, and Torrente must be well pleased simply because he hasn't just got half the team working for him this weekend, because he's the only he's the only boat out there for Team Qatar. He's got the entire team working with him, and I'm sure that David DeWalt, the guy that does the propellers for that team, and boy, do they try some propellers. I've seen something like 3 or 4 dozen propellers there that they go through. They're all very closely knit, you know. Propeller choice is good. The boat is obviously very good. Brendan with the engines, that seems to be working well. Obviously, they're the benchmark, and Torrente this year, he really will be pushing hard for the World Championship, and if he gets it, it'll be well deserved, Steve.
Let's see if Sean Torrente can pull it and pick up a victory, making it 2 in a row here in Doha. Flow Station's leaving us now. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget to join us here at 15:45 local time as we will come back and bring you this Grand Prix, the 11th edition of the Grand Prix of Qatar. So for my fine, great international TV crew and for my partner Jonathan Jones, I'm Steve Michael saying so long from a lovely morning here in dazzling Doha Bay in Qatar. We'll see you for the Grand Prix later. So long, everybody.